football's happening. We got some preseason action in the background. High school ball started last night. There's more games tonight. I get to go and see my alma mater Bearden play my son's school West tomorrow because they're playing on Saturday for this week for, because they can, because there is no college ball yet. But I think the first college game is this coming Thursday, so we are into football season. I got to get with my bookie and make sure all my accounts are clean and fresh and we can get started and I can raise a few bucks in that game. So we're not going to talk a lot of football. I think I already put my prediction out for the year. I think, if not, maybe I will hear it in a minute. Anyway, Instagram at gmail.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. We got the website. Almost go over here. Check out all the cool stuff we got going on there. And go to your favorite podcast provider. Like, friend, share, text us to your show. Do what you could do to support what we do so that we can keep doing what we're doing. So showtime. Here we go. Hey, buddy.
Hey.
Well, what's new with you?
Oh, not much.
Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, football's happening?
Yay.
I know you love football so much.
I can watch it. I just don't really care that much for it.
I don't know. I like the game. I like the game a lot. I don't know. It's become more of a background thing. It used to be like I used to be passionate about sitting somewhere and watching all day Saturday, all day Sunday. Now it's like I'm folding laundry, maybe vacuum in the living room, but I'll have the game on in the background, sit down and watch. But so I do need to get a hold of my bookie because I got some problems already. I do believe the Vegas had the over and under for wins this year at 8.5 for the Tennessee Football Volunteers. Mm-hmm. I took that over. I think we'll win 9 games this year. Just to put that officially on the record if I can. But you know what? All the sports aside, the news of the week is this, which we talked about last week, and I don't understand why everybody's all bent out of shape. But this Chillhowee Park Muse, the Muse thing passed. They delayed the vote on the Emerald Youth Foundation
selling it or transferring the land.
And so all sorts of hullabaloo. We got arguments about whether that piece of land is worth that much or not worth that much. Arguments about who talked to who, and if there was if there was enough public input on the selling of public land kind of stuff, which is one of the more frustrating ones to me because this is something that's been on the books and ideas, and the request for proposal was months ago, and so you didn't have to be paying much attention to know that this was happening.
Yeah, I think it was Emerald Youth that said that they'd had a number of public forums.
But obviously they went out and they cherry-picked and they talked to people who were going to help them get this done, which is what you should be doing if you're them. It's not their job to get a unified public input. It's their job to, if they're wanting to do this.
Influential neighbors.
Yeah, well, like Reverend Middlebrook and the other ones that we mentioned last week. And so I have no problems with them, I don't have any problems with their side of it. I get some. I don't know. No, I don't. I don't get any of it. One, the biggest point of contention I have with the whole conversation is it's not a park. It operates as an asset of the city of Knoxville. It does not operate under the city of Knoxville Park and Rec Department. It operates under whatever the same company that manages the Civic Auditorium manages Chillhowee Park.
Is the parking lot staying as is? Or is that part of the...
No, as of right now, the fair location, the only thing the fair is losing, and that won't be for 2 more years, is the Jacobs Building where the Muse is going.
Yeah.
Because when the fair is here, they use the Jacobs Building they
agriculture, yeah.
Right, but they also put vendors in there, and so they have...
It's been a long time since I went to the fair. I thought I remember it being on actual ground.
Every time I remember seeing it, or I don't know if I haven't been to it forever either. I always remember seeing it. It's all that parking lot where they put all the rides and the
maybe it was on pavement.
The fried Oreo stands and the fried corn dog stands and the fried chicken on a stick stands.
Right.
All the fried things on sticks stands are all there in that parking lot, and it goes around there's the fake lake down there with a big fountain in it.
But isn't that big parking lot overflow for the zoo?
It is.
That's what I was wondering if that was still staying, because I think the zoo's main... It's been a while since I've been there as well.
So, yeah, it doesn't park shit.
Yeah.
It's like 10, 15 spaces. Like, it's nothing up there at the main lot.
Yeah.
And they have the little trolley that rolls up and down the hill, which is always fun to ride with kids. Kids enjoy that.
You doing a trolley?
Yeah. The train car thingy. It's like six little...
Oh, mini cars?
Yeah.
Huh.
It's like a little... I mean, it's the same... Like, it's a smaller version of the same thing that the parking lot they use at Dollywood is.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like a long train of small cars that you pile, like, I think like 6 or 8 people per little car, and there's like 6 or 7 cars all linked together. And again, like as of right now, there's nothing happening with the stables that are up. The stables that are up there, that's where the livestock shows and stuff happen for the fair. That's not getting affected by any of this. But it's like, I don't know. This goes back to that gentrification conversation we have been talking about. But it's like, to me, it's like, what do you want? Like, what do you actually want there? Like, I could get the argument of like, hey, let's put a real park there. Let's take the misnomer that is the midway section of Chillhowee Park, and let's open it to the public like a standard park instead of it being this special event center that we're doing.
All right.
However, when you get into the budgets and the stuff like that, it's like, that would be a budgetary issue because it has to be maintained differently. Crews have to come in more often when it's a standard use park than they do now. There's more cost involved in making it a park, which is not a disqualifier, but that's part of the conversation. And so like, I don't know, like it's the whole thing is off-putting to be.
They're like a public-private kind of partnership.
I
think Lakeshore. I know it's a county park.
City.
Is it a city park?
But
I think there's some like business in there, some business connections in there as well.
A lot of the work, the most recent work that was done with private dollar money.
Okay.
Like it was donors said, "Hey, I will give you $1 million, but it's going to like
you got to put a pickleball court in."
Right. It's going to an upgrade and whatever, and that's one of the things. Like a lot of people are like, "Oh, like why don't we could make the lakeshore of East Knoxville cool?"
Right. I was about to say, yeah, because it's got baseball park, soccer fields, now pickleball court.
Right.
A couple different playgrounds.
It's a great park. Don't get me wrong. I don't disagree with that whatsoever. But, okay, East Knoxville will get a bunch of donors that want to put up a couple $1 million each and partner with the city on investing into this to make that, to make it
right.
the lakeshore of West Knoxville. I think it's kind of odd. I could see the argument about like, it's kind of fucked up that you're, taking private dollars and investing it into one section of town. And, so basically you get to buy your own park if you live out west. It's like, sort of, yeah. I mean, I guess that's kind of what happened. Like, we can make the argument on whether the city should participate in an activity like that. I can understand that as the argument. But it's like, okay, if you want the lakeshore of East Knoxville, then go raise some money. And back months ago when the city first started talking about this and when they put their request for proposals out, that's when you approach and say, hey, this isn't what we want to do. We've got a bunch of neighborhood interest on this, that we'd like something that's more standard, open to the public all the time, usage kind of thing.
Right.
We would like some of the amenities that Emerald Foundation or whatever is going to put in here, but we would like them to be public use, not private use with limited public use when they feel like letting other people play. And it's like, okay, well, that's a conversation worth having, but that was a conversation that was had months ago. Like I think the city screwed up. I think the mayor's office specifically screwed up on this because they pushed it onto the agenda for this week with very little. Like they went public with it before they went public with it going on the agenda before they announced it internally to anybody in the council. So councilors that weren't active on this, like pretty much all the councilors other than Gwen McKenzie, who was actively a part of this process, had no idea what was going on.
Right.
And all of a sudden, they're getting calls from constituents on the topic, and they're like, "Oh," and that's a screw up. Like that's a really shitty place to put your counselors in.
Right.
Be like, "Oh, hey, by the way, this major thing that apparently a bunch of people are upset about.
We're going to vote on it.
We're voting on that this week. What are your thoughts?" So they screwed about that, but at the same time, it goes like I said, it goes back to this thing. It's like, what Well, then the other big complaint was that Kincannon in the meeting said it fits, like, quote, it fits my vision for East Knoxville. That was very upsetting to people. Because it shouldn't be your vision, Miss Kincannon. It should be our vision as a community. It's like,
right.
Yeah, yes, fair enough, but it's the same thing that we were talking about Trump stuff the other week. Like, I do believe that Trump mixes the two up in his head, that he and we are, like, I and we, he doesn't use as he uses I as we sometimes, but sometimes uses I as I. My take when Kincannon said it was, this is my vision, meaning, this is what we've been working on for years. We've been moving this direction. This was part of
my administration.
This is part of the plan, and my vision from what we have created as a community is what we're putting out. But everyone's like, it's not your vision. It's supposed to be everybody's vision. It's like, well, everybody's an idiot, and we can't have everybody, because if we have everybody in the conversation, then nothing fucking happens. Because nobody can agree on shit when it comes to public use. A whole bunch of people complaining about the sale of public property, and that just being it. That was the complaint. It wasn't that we wanted anything different there. It's like, we don't think you should sell public property. What? That's crazy. What's my platform when I run for mayor? Build, baby, build. Metro. There's one other one that I had.
I can't recall.
But, okay, well, the third one now is officially... I'm selling is if departments can't give me a good reason why we own X, Y, or Z, I'm selling it.
Yep.
Like, I'm selling it all. Like the again, like the Sears building there in Happy Hollow, that's county property. The county's selling that. Who in the county is pissed off that the county is selling off this piece of property? Why would you be upset about that? It's a little different because it's not a public use piece of land. It's not like a library. Like, if they sold a library property, that's a conversation worth having.
Yeah.
But are they selling the library because they built a new library down the street? Then shit, yeah, we should sell that fucking library. What are we doing? Like, why do we don't need two libraries on top of each other. We're not Pilot with gas stations on either corner. I just think, like, the idea that the city and county keep assets that aren't in use. Like, and again, like that argument or the statement of it's an underutilized public asset, which it is. Because to do anything there, you have to be a promoter like me that's going to go put an event on, whether it's the Tennessee Valley Fair, which is I think it's a nonprofit. It might be a for-profit company, but it's just a company that does the thing. And they've done it for 100 years, and that's a big deal. Don't get me wrong. But they also do it with no cost from the city. They don't have to rent that event space. Like, if I go down and do something at World's Fair Park, if I want to do something in the amphitheater at World's Fair Park, you have to pay for that and all the other crap that you have to use that the city makes you use for a special event.
All right.
If you want to do the lawn at World's Fair Park for a concert, like back when Hot Summer Nights, remember that series, what that Ashley Capps did? Ashley Capps had to pay the city rental on the venue. Just like if Ashley Capps was doing something at the Mill and Mine, he rents the venue for the night. The venue doesn't give it to him for free,
right?
Nor does the city. And so, except for Tennessee Valley Fair, gets to use the Chillhowee Park for free for 10 days a year. Well, yeah, 10 days a year with the 2 days before and after for setup and breakdown. And then nothing else goes on there except for overflow parking for the zoo.
Is that part of the city? Or are they kind of like renting it to themselves? Who puts on the fair, per se?
The fair is a private entity.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a fully private entity.
Yeah.
Which the city apparently, and this is another one that I never paid attention to, and it makes total sense. The city haven't been actively pushing Tennessee Valley Fair to leave Chillhowee Park, but they haven't been actively trying to keep them to stay either. It's been kind of an open secret that the city government at large has no desire to keep the fair down there. And this is not a new thing. This has been like a decades long, like, hey, if you want to use Chillhowee, that's cool. We've used it last year.
If you guys want to look for somewhere else, that's fine.
But have you seen this place over here? Like, shit like that. Like, it's been an active. We're not saying you can't do it here, but if you can find somewhere cooler to do it, we support that.
Right.
Like, that's been the stance for almost a decade with the city. So it's not a Kincannon thing. It was a Ruggiero thing, and maybe even not Victor Ashe, whoever before that. Burchett?
Haslam?
Burchett
was the county mayor.
Oh, you're right. That's where my history of paying attention to Knoxville politics goes. Yeah. We think we haven't. It hasn't been announced officially yet. Chris Davis hasn't sent me an email to do a hard subject change. I figured I was going to rant and rave about that one for a little bit longer, because I think this is one of those examples of like I guess this is where we can tie these two topics together. This is the example of unengaged citizens making me say shit about people being stupid, and I don't like it. So quit being dumb, so I don't have to call you dumb. I don't want to call you dumb anymore. But it is like that's any of these major things like this are long process things, and there's plenty of time to chime in and interact and be a part of the process. Not the day before it appears before council. You know, again, I will agree that the city screwed up with their communication of the planning and stuff like that right here at the very end. But this is not a secret. This hasn't been a secret. This has been something the city has been working on. Like, you go back to, I think it was July.
But how widely do you think that's really known?
As widely as anything else the city does is.
Right, and I'd say most people, at least 75, 80%, you know, just unless they see it on the local news, they don't really know what's going on.
I mean, for us Compass people out there, Compass did a story on the request for proposal and the negotiations between the Emerald Youth Foundation and the city of Knoxville about that, about finalizing the plan that they wanted to do last summer. I don't know if WBIR or any of them covered it. Remind me, that's the other big story is another conglomeration of big media.
Oh, I did see that.
But, you know, like
Sinclair bought Tegna or something.
Yeah, SkyTech, yeah, whatever. The local part of it's really interesting, though. We'll talk about it in a second. But, you know, that request for proposal was covered last summer. You know, and so, yes, you have to take a couple of brain cells and rub them together a little bit to go, okay, so the city is asking for people to buy or lease this piece of land from them to do a project on. This would be the time to be like, hey, hold on a second. Before you ink that, maybe now we should talk about this a little bit. Not 13 months later when the ink's dry and we're moving forward with the plan, and this is literally the vote to say, hey, this thing we planned last summer, let's get it official so we can actually go through the process of selling it. This is literally what, like, it's approving the mayor's office to sell the piece of land is the main part of what the vote was supposed to be on that they delayed.
Gotcha.
And so it's like, again, I can understand you don't pay attention and you only hear about it when it's too late. And it's like, well, that's just it. It's too late. If you want to be an informed citizen that has an opinion, that wants to chime in on stuff, then you need to stay an informed citizen, not right at the very end when whatever it is, it's already too late.
Yeah, but I mean, how many of these deals go down? I mean, I'd say most people don't know about the Sears building that you're talking about. You know about it because you're more engaged in that area.
Sure.
But I'd say there's lots of kind of like building sales and things like that go on that don't get reported on. That I think it's hard to expect everyone to keep up with.
I think I agree, except I think depending on what the asset is, it's got its own. I mean, yeah, city selling some like garage space that they have over there. Well, again, I know all about these because that's county. It's all the city county engineering stuff's all in there on 275 on Baxter and Woodlawn. Right, it's all tucked back in there in that gross industrial section there. You know, with the city. You know, the city wanting to move the dump from A to B, but even that, it's like, you know, because it's a NIMBY issue too. It's whether it affects me directly or not, but that's just it. It's like, you know, like I'm paying attention to the Sears building sale because I want it, but it's also directly affects me. All these people in East Knoxville who the sale of this Chillhowee Park to the Emerald Youth thing is directly affecting them. It affected them last year too, when it was actually a conversation to be had, not now when it's already a closed deal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so yes, on every single sale and every single transaction, no. But you pay attention to the ones that affect you. Like, we all knew about the stadium project.
Right, that was pretty widely reported on.
Right, but it also affected us all in a significant way because it's a tax revenue, or it's a taxing, there's taxing implications that go into it, as well as you have state tax dollars that are coming into it. And you have the, you know, at least for me and you, I think this weird conflict of interest. Boyd is a state employee and is also getting money from the state for a private project. Nobody's going to talk about that too much. That wasn't covered, but we kind of talked about it.
What's he do for the state?
He's the president of the UT system. Right. You know, and so like there's a couple weirdisms on that side of it to me, which doesn't really change anything per se. But it's like, you know, again, but to your point, yes, I know about the Sears building sales. Because A, I pay attention in general, but B, it directly affects me.
Right. I mean, I know we talked about it a few times. The new tree park that they finished down there off of Summit Hill. I mean, I'd say at
alien
least
mushroom statue.
Yeah, I'd say a good half to 60% of Knoxville probably had no idea it's
right.
there.
And that one, but like that conversation was in and took place in. I mean, that was Ruggiero first term.
Was it?
When that contract got done? But public art's a whole other animal, though. To be fair, nobody likes public art. Everybody loves public art, but nobody likes public art.
Just trying to get an example of like city county funds. They went to a park per se.
But if we go in the Wayback Machine and go listen to the episode when that whole hullabaloo and everybody getting pissed off about cutting down trees and shit. Like I believe my take on it then was like, it's too late. Like you don't get to say no after we spent the money and made the plan and signed the paper.
Right.
You get to say no when they're like, "Hey, we're going to spend $1.6 million on this weird art thing that we don't even really actually know what it's going to look like because we only have a theoretical concept drawing of it that's going to squeeze into this little space that has nothing to do with country music because I didn't ask it to be about country music." Like, but that's a perfect example too because you go back into that conversation right there when they were starting construction and they were.
That's when most people found out about it. Like I said, I don't think most people knew about it whenever the ink was, when the pen was inked on there.
But then shut up. If you don't get to be engaged when you feel like it, you need to be engaged when it matters.
I think there's an example of, like I said, most people didn't know about it whenever there was even talk of that. All of a sudden, like you said, the contract was signed. I mean, I'd say most people didn't even realize that contract was even signed.
But then pay attention. I mean, figure it out. Go subscribe to Compass. Listen to the Compass podcast. You'll know the rough. You might not get the full detailed version of it, but that free podcast is going to give you the broad strokes of it. If you listen to, an hour and a half of me and Scott and Jesse's back on the show now, droning on about all the bits and bobs, you'll know what a pilot is. Because every time a significant pilot comes up, we talk about it. And we have to re-explain what pilot is because we know everybody forgets what pilots are all the time.
Right.
I really want to get that done. It's just it's been so busy. I'd really love to sit down with Scott and Jesse and do making fun of the myself here, the Jurassic Park Mr. DNA video.
Yeah,
but do a video, do it in that format with me and Scott and Jesse, explaining how pilots work, and then explaining how TIFFs work. So we have a pilot and TIFF 5-minute explainer video that's real, for dummies. I would love to have that in there so that every time we do have a pilot conversation on the Compass podcast or on here, we can put a link and be like, hey, if you need to understand how pilots work, click here.
Right.
You can learn all about it in fine detail because a lot of people don't know how they work and they get upset because it's like, well, we're spending tax money. And it's, well, not really. But you don't know how it works, and so you don't. But again, I don't have a lot of I don't have a lot of sympathy for it. I'm busy. I got a lot of shit going on too. But it doesn't take me, 30 minutes a day or less. Probably 15 minutes max a day I spend on keeping up with this kind of stuff.
I get your point, but I still think it's hard to expect most people to be able to follow everything that's going on within the city or county.
But again, I don't expect them to. But if you're not going to if you're not going to live up to the expectation of putting some energy in it, then shut the fuck up. You don't get an opinion when it's too late because you didn't care to put the energy in that. Now I'll get on board if you can think of a better way to put it. Like if we can figure out a better system. So that, because I think you're right. I think one of the problems is you have something like the Ruggiero one. It got screwed up by COVID too, which didn't help with the weird tree art thing. Mm-hmm. That was a Ruggiero era thing that got delayed, and so it was supposed to be installed in 2020, and it got delayed because of COVID until 22 or whatever when they started working on it.
Right.
And so Ruggiero was out of office at that point, and a whole bunch of different we were all consumed by COVID at that point, and we were starting to come out of COVID and what's the world look like after COVID? It's some weird tree thing, I guess. And we were stuck with it because it already happened.
Right.
I could get on board with having some sort of conversation about trying to minimize the time span of some of these things. Because I agree, this Emerald Club, this Emerald Youth one, it was over a year ago that this really got completed. And so I don't know, how do you report on it? Hey, Emerald Club's, this Emerald thing's happening. I don't know. Why, but I don't know. because I don't know if you can. Because, I mean, hell, at this point, even if the city voted this week, they have to vote again, get it voted on twice before Emerald can go under contract to buy it from the city, and then it's going to take a month of paperwork and shit because it takes forever.
Yeah, I think I read they just delayed this vote like 2 weeks. Or
right,
some were asking for more time, but it's at least two weeks for now.
Had they passed it now, had they voted on it this time, they'd have to vote on it again at the next one,
right? Which
would be in 2 weeks. But after that 2 week period, it still takes like 1 to 3 months to do all the title transfer and all the paperwork in a property transfer. Like, I don't understand this. This is just one of those things that is. I think I don't understand it at all. Like, if I was going to go buy your parents' house, it takes like a month. Like, even if I handed them a stack of cash and they handed me the title of their home, it doesn't work like that.
Right.
It takes like a month of going to the clerk's office, going to the whatever here, doing this. Like, there's all this fucking paperwork that has to get processed, and the bigger the property, the more expensive the property, the longer that process takes. Because, like, again, for example, in the holler there, it's like the guy that the Connolly Construction out of Chattanooga who bought the property on the corner, they had agreed in terms on that property and signed contract on that property in like February of this year.
The old cleaner building we were talking about.
And they took I don't think they took possession like July 1st. They actually took possession, and then July 2nd they were demolishing the old building and clearing it off.
Yeah.
But I would say, like, it took February, March, April, May, June, 5 months that the people selling it agreed, the people buying it agreed, everybody agreed on the numbers and stuff like that. You know, and so that's a separate issue of time thing. But I don't know. Like, I don't know what the answer is to make it more palatable to people to pay attention.
I mean, you've also just kind of got the nature of the news cycle that it's easy to kind of forget something that was just 3 days ago that was reported on because we're just constantly got any kind of new news coming out.
I mean, I agree, but if it's something that would animate you to the point of what happened this week at City Council, where it's been like a week, it's been like 10 days, 14 days or so of people up in arms about this and pitching fits and holding emergency public meetings and showing up at the city council meeting this week and stuff like that. It's been a couple of weeks.
I'd say part of that maybe, some of the details weren't exactly, fully disclosed on it. May have just kind of been a blurb. Like, City of Knoxville looks to sell to a local nonprofit. You just kind of like read the headline, you're like, oh, that doesn't sound so bad. Till you look into it and you're like, well, wait, hold on, what all is that going to entail? Like, oh, we're not going to have access to it? Like, what are you talking about?
I mean, we could be one, but you got to figure out something. If you want to be engaged, you've got to figure out a touchstone that you can check in on a regular basis, like once a week when we release this podcast or when Compass releases their podcast. That you can check in on once a week. That's going to get you some of these headlines, so you can get up in arms about it at the right time. I'm going to keep going back to that. It's like we got to put minimal effort in. Speaking of minimal effort, this was the transition I'd already started, and I'll go ahead and finish it now smoothly, like I do. We will probably break 10,000 votes in early voting. I'm excited.
That's not good, right? Or that's good.
For this election cycle, it's pretty solid. It's better than 21 cycle comparables. And it's still weird, the two races that have a primary because they have to, but there's no change after the primary. There's only two people running.
Still has the highest turnout.
Still both have the highest turnout.
Yeah.
And so the question, like if you're paying attention to the statistics of it, it's about 50%, a little over 50. Like as the years have continued of early voting, the percentage has gone up. City races specifically are about 50-50 early day of, but it started at 35% early, 65 day of, and then it's been slowly working up. And so my take on it is it seems like as long as early voting is an option, that percentage is going to keep rising. And so this might be our first this might be our first cycle. Probably not because of the ballot initiative that's on this one, but I think this is going to be the last cycle that's about 50-50. I think as we move forward, it's going to go to 55, and it's going to be more and more higher percentage is going to be early voting as things continue. weird people like me and Scott who insist on voting on Election Day. Because that's the pomp and circumstance, the tradition, the feels.
Right.
We're going to keep that alive. But for the most part, I predict that, in the 2029 cycle, the equivalent cycle next time for the same seats, even though everybody's going to be an incumbent, I think that turnout will be the first. That's the higher percentage of early voters. But either way, so we're going to get to about 20,000, which is a little over 20% of the voting eligible population, or of the registered voters in the city of Knoxville, which is like, I think Chris put it out. I think like 75-80% of eligible voters in the city of Knoxville are registered. So if 100% were registered, it's like 110. So 20%. Or 20,000 of 110 is probably what's going to show up for this primary. And I would guess, and I meant to ask earlier, I didn't ask, but I'm going to guess the November general doesn't quite double it, so we'll get in like the low 30s, maybe high 20s. I think it'll add about 50%. I think we'll do about 35,000. The tax ballot initiative kind of gives me pause in my prediction. Like, that could be something that turns a lot of people out.
Right.
And then it'll be very interesting, because if it does turn a lot of people out, who are they voting for in the different districts?
Just going down ballot like a lot of people do.
Well, there is no down ballot, because there's no party affiliation on the ballot.
No.
So,
wink, wink.
I mean, really, other than District 3 and Other than Districts 3 and 4, there is no right-of-center candidates. I think one has one, too. 6 does not have one. 6 are all left. You're going to get somebody on the spectrum of Democrat in District 6. I think one's got a Republican. Yeah, I think all the other ones have Republicans. Eric's got 4 candidates, so yeah, those 4.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, and 4 all have Republicans that Eric's pushing. So, if you're into, I don't know, whatever, go out and vote, for fuck's sake, city people. I don't get to.
Just do it.
I mean, no, don't. Go to CompassKnox.com. All their voter stuff is outside the paywall right now. Go to Compass and read up on your candidates.
Right.
And then do it. If you're not going to bother reading on it, don't do it. Or just go vote no to the taxes, because that's all you care about. Or vote yes to the taxes if that's all you care about.
Leave the rest blank.
And leave the rest blank.
Just throw in a none of the above.
Yeah.
And see what happens.
We don't need stupid. I'm feeling constituent hateful right now, apparently. I'm in a mood. Yeah, so Sky, whatever, what'd you say it was?
Sinclair, I think.
Yeah, so us locally, for us local folks, that would be WATE and WBIR will become one station.
Oh, wow, they're going to merge those two?
Oh. Well, they're not, but they're just going to be under the same ownership. And so the real question is, because WBIR already has the Fox News.
Yeah, I was about to say, there was a kind of like a mix a handful of years ago.
Right.
Where it was like the same people, just on a different station.
Right, no, so... Right, so what it looks like to me is that we'll have WVLT and WBIR news will be our only local television news anymore. Once this goes through, because I think they're going to simulcast or some facsimile thereof of WBIR on Channel 6, Channel 10, and Fox 43.
Right. There's also whatever Channel 20 is on the air.
Is that the Me TV?
No. It's not WB. I can't remember what it is now.
The CW?
No. So now there's like 6, 8, 20, and 43.
6, 8, 10.
Right, yeah, 6, 8, 10.
I don't know. 20 has a broadcast news?
I believe it's like one of like the ABC or NBC, kind of like the Fox and
right. NBC, right. The WBIR NBC does a 10 o'clock version of their 11 o'clock show for Fox. But I don't know. I mean, the question to me is, this is the serial entrepreneur in me. It's like, so if they do that,
the CW, yeah,
that was right. Do they have news?
Affiliates, WVLT, yeah.
Okay, so that would be so we'd still have that. It'd be WVLT on 8 and 20, and then WBIR on 6, 10, and 43. For you Air Channel people out there. Like, so the question to me is, because what you're going to end up with is you're going to have one entire newsroom that gets downsized, which means Don Dare will be on NBC. Ugh, Don Dare on WBIR. Fuck. I don't like that guy.
You don't like him? You don't like his little investigates?
I mean, actually, his investigates are not that, like, I appreciate that journalism from him. I hate his fucking his health score coverage.
Oh, okay. Not as familiar.
Oh, I mean, that's all I ever see is, and maybe that's again, that's where my brain goes because I've been in restaurants and stuff my whole life. And so he has like once a week or a couple times a week, he does a segment where he basically goes down to the health department and gets inspections. And
what don't you like about that?
It's like, this place failed their inspection. They had this, and this, because it's overly sensationalized. Like, the way he presents it is overly sensationalized. I'm not saying that the health inspections are wrong or that they shouldn't be, corrected by the health department because they're doing things that are unsafe and unhealthy for people. I'm not saying that that's not how the world should be, but it's like, it's very sensationalized, and it's very, like, it feels like the way he covers it feels like a bitchy Karen's Yelp review. Like, I'm going to say all these things about the experience here because I want to ruin your business. Like, that's how his coverage feels like when he's like, oh, Jimmy John's got a 74 on their health inspection today. They did this and they did that. And can you believe they did this?
I mean, he's reading off the actual, like, health department.
Right.
Evaluation.
Okay.
It always blows my mind of, like, some that fail it, and they're like, under the follow-up, they got a 96.
Right.
And I was like, how the fuck did you do that?
Well, because most of them, because that's the thing about the health inspection.
It's simple to fix things.
You've done it right. You've been arrested. Like, I remember I got screamed at by my supervisor when I was with Cookout because we got a 98. We lost 2 points because the health inspector, because it is truly technically on the health inspection, is we had food waste on the floor because we got those big 50-pound bags of Vidalias, but they're those red mesh bags. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And some of my onion skins had fallen off and out of one of the bags and was on the floor underneath the shelving in our dry storage, and that took 2 points off our health inspection. Yeah. Everything else was perfect in that place, and I get screamed at by my boss. One, the boss being like, you have to have 100 or you fail. That's another thing. I think people have this weird expectation. Like, it goes back to the school stuff that I've complained about. It's like, a C is fine.
It's supposed to be average.
Exactly. A C is fine. Like, like stuff like that. Like, like you have onion peels on the floor. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones that are on there. Like, your fridge is out of temp. That's a problem. That's a real problem.
Right.
There's context to that conversation, though, because that fridge is out of temp because you just were in there and you just got your truck in and the door's been open for 20 minutes, or, like, we don't know. We have the inspection gives no reference for any sort of contingency. It's just it is or it isn't a temperature.
Yeah. It does also point out recent ones that have gotten really high scores as well.
I agree, but
it's usually at the bottom of the article. But
right, but again, it's just it's the way he covers it is just like it's overly sensational, and I don't appreciate that. As a restaurateur and somebody who's been in restaurants for a long time, who actually understands what the health inspection means, the point of the health inspection is to get you to do it correctly. It's not to kill your business. Unless you are a serial offender, then the health department comes to try to shut you down.
Right.
Which you should be shut down. Okay, fine. But you have a bad day, and that's the day that the surprise inspection happens to show up, and you've got some random guy who's never set foot in your restaurant telling at least their entire audience that this place is unsafe to eat at, because he doesn't come back and do the corrections. He doesn't come back to, on the follow-up inspection they did this, unless it was before he pulled that data. Like, he'll do it. Like, he's like, El Charo got a 65. They did this, this, and this, but on their follow-up, they got the 90. But that's only if the follow-up happened between him pulling it and not. He doesn't come back the next week and be like, oh.
Most of the ones that I've read that has a follow-up score in it, so it seems like he's at least got like a week or two since it's been done.
You go. They come in and do an inspection. That goes on file as soon as they leave. And
as far as some reporting on it, most of the ones I've seen, he's also got that follow-up. I don't know how quickly the follow-up gets done.
It's usually within a week. Right. It usually says it on the initial inspection. We'll follow up in a week.
Right.
And so maybe maybe when Don Dare gets the extra low scores, he sets them aside and waits for that follow up next week. But it's just like, again, to me, it feels like he's trying to make these restaurants. He's trying to hurt these restaurants' business. That's what it feels like to me.
No, I don't think so.
I think it is. Or he's trying to warn the public not to eat there, which is whatever. Same thing. 6 or half dozen. Don't eat to this place. It's dangerous. It's like I always ask, like, when's the last time you washed your kitchen trash can inside and out?
Long time.
Yeah. Well, health inspector comes in, they pull the bag out of the trash can, and they look down there. If you got juice in the bottom, that's points.
Yeah.
You
should just pour some bleach in there and some water, kind of slosh it around.
Oh yeah.
Dump it out.
Well, that's just like that's always like when people say, like whenever people say stuff like that, I always go. That's one of my questions I always ask. When's the last time you washed your kitchen trash can? And it's like, I guarantee you, your house, my house, your mom's house, my mom's house, would fail a health inspection.
Right.
I mean, one, there's animals. you have animals running around. That's a fucking critical violation right there. You have animals in your kitchen? Live animals? No.
They stay out of the kitchen.
That's like a 5 or 10 point violation automatically. And I've got a dog and a cat and probably some other animals that I don't know about running around in my kitchen all the time.
Cockroaches.
I'm just saying, like, but like it goes back. I mean, again, I'm going to keep my know what the fuck you're talking about or shut the fuck up kind of, because I'm in the mood today apparently. It's the same thing. It's like, if you there is a place for the health department. I acknowledge in my libertarianism that I'm okay with the existence of the health department. I'm not really, but I get it, and I'm not opposed to it. Like, of all the shit that I'm going to pitch a fit about, the health department doing kitchen inspections for public eating places is not high on my list of shit I'm going to pitch a fit about. The problem I have with the health department doing inspections like that is when they publish that to the public doesn't know what the fuck they're looking at. And again, I will attest that we as a grander society in the United States have, over the last couple decades, pushed this narrative of it's A or fail. There is no B, C, or D anymore. It's A or fail. Every survey you get, like every time you get a survey, it's like, hey, will you do a survey about that experience you just had at our place? Like when I was with O'Charlie's, we had one that was on the receipt, and give them the receipt. Hey, if you do that survey or whatever, I'd really appreciate it. Help me out. I get a bonus. I'll get an extra day off. I'll get a couple hours of PTO or something like that if I get a bunch of these surveys done.
Right.
But it only counts if I get a 5.
Right.
And it's a 1 to 5 scale. Like we as a society have grown into this. It's either you're perfect or you're a failure. And so when people with that mindset go and look at a health inspection score and you're sub 90, they think it's, like some hut out in Cambodia or something like that you're eating off the floor in. And I think that's a problem. I think it's a lack of education with people that don't understand what they're looking at. I like the New York model, sort of. They don't give they do have the whole sheet with all the checks and circles and boxes to fill in and stuff like that. But when they're done, they just have a full sheet of paper with an A, B, C, or D on it. And so when you put it up in the window, it's just health inspection A. And then next to it is the form with all this super complicated stuff.
Well, they're supposed to be easily viewable. And restaurants that get really high scores, they try to make it a point to make it close to where a lot of people will actually see it. But I go to a lot of places, and I couldn't tell you. I know it's supposed to be up somewhere. I mean, you go into like a major chain sit-down restaurant, it could be anywhere in there.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a conspicuous place. It's open.
Right.
My general rule in every place I've ever done and been in charge of that kind of shit is I always have the wall of plaques.
Right.
We have our business license because that has to be posted. We sell alcohol, so we have to have the alcohol can kill your baby if you're pregnant kind of shit. Like that has to be posted. Mm-hmm. Like you don't have to post anything else about alcohol. Yeah, but you have to have
warning's gotta be up.
You have to have one. There's one single warning that has to be a full 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, printed in the landscape format. It's a big red bar on the top that says caution, and then it's only about pregnant ladies. You know, not it's illegal to drink or drive, not any of the other stuff, that all the dangers of alcohol, just the one. Because babies, I don't know.
I think I've seen some new smoking ones. Or I think I first saw them like a year or two ago. That I think gas stations have to have now. Can't remember exactly what it says.
I question the efficacy of those kind of things though. Like, is anybody like some preggers walks into a bar? It's like, oh, I didn't know that. I'm going home. I was gonna have a couple Jack and Cokes, but now that I see that,
right.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it does work with smoking. I'm not sure. Just seems kind of silly to me.
I'm trying to remember what it is. I don't know if it was about like the light cigarettes not being.
Yeah, there's a couple.
Sold for a while of like, oh, it's healthier for you.
Right. I mean, that was a pretty dirty move.
Right.
Like,
but the most uninformed people were like, oh yeah, it says lights or ultra lights. Like, I'm getting less tar nicotine, right? Maybe. Depends on how you smoke it.
But to that person, what's tar and nicotine anyway? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So wait a minute. I don't get as like I don't.
Well, they put down on the roads. I like my roads.
I don't feel as good. I don't feel as good when I smoke these. It's going to make it a less feely good. Yeah. I want the feely good stuff. Give me them Camel One filters.
I've seen a couple of recent surveys about drinking being down overall, especially with younger crowds.
Yeah, marijuana. These THC cocktails are killing it.
Yeah, possibly.
That's why that is why the liquor distributors of the state of Tennessee lobbied and put forth a bill that did what they did, because they're losing sales to THC drinks and they want to get those sales back.
I think it's more nationwide. I don't think it has as much. I'm not saying that's not a factor. I wouldn't call that one of the main factors, though.
Well, I think
more people are just trying to be more healthy on average, especially kind of the millennials and whatnot.
I mean, yeah, I've seen some different stuff about like alcohol abuse among high school and college kids. There's way down and stuff like that too. Yes.
Really.
I don't know. I'm curious. That's there is an interesting like sociological event that's happening. I'm not sure what that is. I mean, my 15-year-old, I kind of gave him the open door. It's like, you're going to get fucked up. You're going to drink with your friends or whatever. It's fine. Just don't be stupid.
I think you have like waves at times of. I mean, the new thing is like the weight loss drugs and whatnot that are supposed to be like diabetes medicine. They have a side effect of you can lose weight. They're like, oh, we can prescribe it for weight loss now. I mean, you kind of have like health crazes that kind of ebb and flow. So, I mean, I think that has somewhat to do with it. GNC has been around for a long time, kind of pushing a more healthier lifestyle and taking more supplements. You see infomercials left and right about, well, these, what's it like, AG1 is one of the big ones now that I want to say they got sued for kind of like false advertising. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. It's
some kind of green powder.
Vitamin or mineral.
Right.
Like you add it to a bottle of water, and that'll check a bunch of boxes for your dietary intake for a day.
Yeah. Can't remember exactly what the claims were that they kind of got pushed back on and sued over. I don't know if it wasn't as healthy as they were advertising, or
I don't know. I don't mean.
I'd say you see a lot more like kind of like quote unquote kind of healthier restaurants that have kind of like popped up and are becoming more prevalent.
Health. I don't know if I.
Like you see a lot more like smoothie places. And,
yeah, but they ain't fucking healthy.
I mean, healthier than some of the fast food.
Maybe
you're at least getting some vitamins versus next to none.
That's right. Well, which with the AG1 claims, they're going to be there's more shit that's good for your body in here than just a bottle of water.
I mean, some of the smoothie places they are actually using like real fruits that they're blending up into your frozen drink.
Sure, but I mean, like that. I don't know. I get what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing with you and say there's certainly a forward-facing, healthier options out there.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, just because the brand has a healthy thing to it doesn't mean the thing you're ordering on the menu is a healthy one.
Sure.
Because they don't necessarily separate them. I'm just not, I don't know. Where was I ranting before that? I lost my train of thought.
Health department's dead.
Oh, liquor and booze, alcohol use and stuff like that. Alcohol use. I don't know. I'm very curious. I'm very curious and scared to death of where we're going as a country. Not because of lack of alcohol use, but like what I don't understand, like what we're gonna do, like purpose, like I don't know, like with the AI and stuff. So apparently, the fun thing that the high school kids do is there's a new AI app. It's called Kiss Your Crush.
Okay.
And so you take a selfie, and you take a picture that you have of whoever. That's what it's designed to do, and it will make an AI of you guys kissing. And so what all the kids do that they think's funny is they take their friends. And so my oldest was telling me that his buddy took a picture of him, like they were sitting at lunch with using their phones at lunch, even though they're not supposed to. That's policy of Knox County schools.
Is it? I thought they could use it during certain times. Not at all.
No, it's from bell to bell is the rule. They're not allowed to use it from bell to bell.
I know it was more restrictive on like middle schoolers. I thought high school had a little bit more leeway.
One of the options was they were going to let it be used during lunch and between classes.
I think that's what it was for a little while. They could use it between classes.
I think that varied school to school last year, but the new policy system-wide is supposed to be no use for bell to bell. Anyway, he took a picture of his buddy. Took a picture of him and another one of their friends and made them kiss.
Right.
Which I got 1,000 issues. Like there's 1,000 issues in here. Like, let's say his buddy sends that image or it's a little GIF. It's a short video, is what it makes, because it's like the two of you standing next to each other, and then it goes like the heads turn in and they start making out. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, so he sends that to the two kids that he was teasing, like just kind of being silly with. He's like, "Here's your videos, guys," and then my son sends it to me. Do I have kid porn?
Yeah,
I mean, it's like it's a real question, like because we talked about it a couple weeks ago. Like, my gut take on it is like, if you want to do like if AI wants to create pedophile pornography, and people who have some predilection towards that want to use that to get off, I don't have a problem with that. There are no victims here. Nobody's, I'm not saying it's okay per se, but I'm saying like if you have that predilection and you have a way to get that urge out without actually hurting anybody, I would see that as a net good for the world.
Man, I would think a lot of the AI generated people basically are based off of kind of a mixture of actual photos.
Right. Now you
could say some that are pretty damn close to a lot of different people.
Well, I mean, we talked about it when we were going through all the fucking state laws a while back. There's a state law on AI use as far as like using AI to do sexually explicit stuff with somebody else or whatever is now a Class B misdemeanor or something like that. Yeah. Like, I mean, realistically, so my kid's friend, which is, again, from the way I understand it, it's a very popular thing that these kids are doing right now. So it's not just his friend, it's a bunch of his friends, it's a bunch of kids in the high school. That this is what they're doing with their phones because they think it's funny, which kind of is funny. But like that's a bunch. I mean, it's Class B misdemeanors or whatever the actual crime part of it was, because that is using AI to create a sexualized version of a person doing something they didn't actually do.
Yeah, but it's kind of in that gray area because it's not really. I wouldn't call kissing a sexual act. It's a form of embrace, but it's not them with their shirts off. It'd be a little different, if it.
But still, it's like it's on the edge of that. It's in the gray area of the thing, and. But again,
it's not exactly sexual in nature.
Hold on, just to clarify a point. I'm sorry, I just realized something. On the AI-generated kitty porn thing, they cannot be real kids. Like, it cannot be a real kid picture that the AI generates into a porn activity.
That's what I was saying. But a lot of them are kind of based off a whole mixture of like actual photos.
Right. If it's generic, whatever, it's not identifiable as an individual.
Right.
Like that kid. That the AI generated into doing this act, that kid is not a real kid. Like, you can't see that picture and be like, oh, that's my buddy's kid. Mm-hmm. Like that, as long as, if it's a real person, then I think you cross the line.
Right.
But I think, again, if it's like a fully, like, I don't know, what's the difference like that and like alien anime porn shit? It's like, it's fully make-believe with some weirdness, like that's not my cup of tea, but I'm not going to tell you what you need to do in your bedroom at night.
Right.
And so like, I think it's a net good. That's one of the few positives I feel about AI right now. Everything else about AI scares the shit out of me. But giving sick people some way to get their sickness out without hurting anybody, it's not a bad way. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm not okay with it.
I'm not advocating for it. I'm not saying it's something the state should provide, but if it's better than them acting out their urges on a real kid. If we're going to take a harm reduction model out of it,
yeah, I guess I can kind of see that.
It maybe it only prevents 1 in 10 pervs from doing something pervy in the real world, but that's one less kid that's going to get molested because he had a fake version of it to get him off and get on to stay.
I'd say the majority of cases are people that are exchanging child porn. Basically, it's probably less so with like actual like physical acts, but
right. That was the joke I put to you. Was that if I have AI generate a non-specific child performing a sex act, and I send that to you, are we now propagating child porn?
I think by law, possibly.
Probably.
Yeah.
And I think but I mean, I can see that'd be a smart use of their law enforcement. Like that'd be like I could see a law enforcement using that in a sting operation, do an AI generated photo and sell that to some guy on the internet, and then go arrest him for buying child pornography.
I think they do use it in stings.
I can see
that way they're not having to use like an actual picture.
I can appreciate that usage of it, but that's only because you're selling it to the person and as a real image of a real kid.
Right. I think more so using it as like a profile pic, not necessarily a sexual pic of sharing
Either
that.
way.
But more like they're pretending that they are this person in the profile, and that's just profile picture.
Speaking of the Israeli cyber secretary or whatever in Vegas, you hear that story?
Yeah, did see a little bit on that.
It's interesting, a little weird. I don't think that falls under the diplomatic immunity clause.
Did he have? Was it just he had materials or something on a laptop?
No, he was like swept up in a sting operation where there was
to meet up with someone.
There was an agent acting as a 15-year-old on some forum or whatever, and that guy had propositioned him and asked him to meet him at a place for sex acts.
Was he in a position that he has diplomatic immunity?
Even if he did,
I thought I heard he just kind of allowed to leave the country without.
Even if he was in a position of diplomatic immunity, it's not universal.
Well, that's my reading of diplomatic immunity. It's pretty broad, because there was a story a handful of years ago about.
It's not felony. It's misdemeanors, maybe civil offenses, maybe, but felonies, no. It is not. You do not like the.
Yeah, it was an ambassador that's gotten. I think it's happened like more than a couple times in the world of ambassadors getting like vehicular homicide for like DUI, and we're able to just kind of like, oh, I've got diplomatic immunity.
That's not. I don't think that's real. Like they might have gotten away with it, but I don't think that's legally real. They can get out of the DUI probably, but not a vehicular homicide.
I thought they got away with it.
I mean, if as much as Trump likes to make the joke, if Trump walked out into, like, what was the joke? He walked out Fifth Avenue and shot somebody, people would still vote for him president.
Right.
Like, if he did that on...
I think he said he could do it and get away with it.
If he did that...
He basically wouldn't get in trouble for it.
Right, but if he went and did that in Piccadilly Circus in London, I'm pretty sure the London authorities are going to take his ass to jail. You do not...
I want to say it was in London that it was like an ambassador that... I think it was even like on or close to like a U.S. Army base, but it hit a local person, a local civilian.
I'd be going to jail for a long time because I'd be going for some international craziness.
I think the family still tried to sue them civilly, but I don't think they got them for any kind of like civil charges.
That's fucking bullshit.
Not a lot of people agree with that. But
But either way, this guy, I don't think this guy's position fell under any diplomatic immunity anyway. Must be nice. That's why I want to get into politics. I want to get away with crimes. I mean, it seems to be like that's the deal, right? Biggs can steal tax dollars and keep his jobs, allegedly.
Allegedly, right.
Trying to be careful for the lawyers out there. What else local happened? Elections. Mr. Rose was in town.
I saw he had an interview. I think it was with the Nashville station. I think it was like the first time he'd ever sat down with them.
He's on tour. Like he's doing a press tour right now.
Right, but I think he's proposed that he and Marcia have a debate. I don't think her camp has gotten back or agreed to anything yet.
I mean, he is 100% right. He has acknowledged that he does not have the name recognition that Marcia does. He's not popular. He's not a face that people know. We know him because he's a perv. Allegedly. No, I don't know if that's allegedly or not.
Right.
But he's not well known around the state. He's a federal rep from Middle Tennessee.
Right.
But like Scott made a good point earlier. It's like ideologically, there's no difference between him and Marcia. The only thing, like, realistically his campaign has that Marcia's doesn't is he has executive experience.
And he's a farmer.
Well, he has executive experience as a business owner, not in politics. But,
okay.
You know, he's he whatever. I can't remember, some sort of tech something that he was in and sold it for like $60 million. And then got into politics and buying other businesses and selling other businesses and shit like that. And he owns a farm.
Let me just go back real quick. According to Wiki, diplomatic immunity is a principle of international law by which certain foreign government officials are recognized as having legal immunity from the jurisdiction of another country. It allows diplomats safe passage and freedom of travel in a host country and affords almost total protection from local lawsuits and criminal prosecution.
Cool. I'm going to go.
I was saying, I think it's very broad.
I'll be going to jail for an assassination then if something like that ever happened to my kid. I don't care where you're from and why you're here. You kill my kid, and you get away with it because you have some immunity for some bullshit. You know, like I'd believe in a heartbeat that some dad killed Epstein more faster than I believe that. Like some dad broke into the prison to kill Epstein faster than I believe he killed himself. Because I mean, if I was any of those dads, I'd be fuming.
Right.
I'd be in Texas right now trying to figure out how to break into that prison and kill that chick. It's craziness. Like, it's fucking maddening.
Right.
Like, what are we doing? Like, what can they possibly... Like, what could possibly be more important than publicly punishing somebody for something like that?
I agree.
And then try to tell us there's nothing there. What a bunch of shit.
We've looked into it. We know we were talking about it on our own podcast for a while that there's a bunch of shady shit going on, but now that I'm in a position of power, like, no, I actually looked at it. There's nothing.
I mean, it's like I said.
Believe me, I've read it. Believe me now. Don't believe me. What I was saying a year ago.
Well, I didn't know a year ago, but
that was just me trying to, say shit on my own podcast.
Like I said, I feel like I had
clicks.
I feel like I had a stroke. Like I feel like I had I really do. Like like I thought the narrative was that we were going to get the Epstein files out because we elected this guy.
There was some kind of files that got released to like the oversight committee, I think, a few days ago.
It's shenanigans. It's all.
There's been a couple judges that have blocked the release of some of the grand jury transcripts, I believe.
Which that doesn't do anything anyway. That wasn't really. It's very rare that you get transcripts from a grand jury released anyway.
Yeah, I heard there's a good bit that's already been released anyway. That was part of some of like the folders that got paraded out a handful of months ago back in the spring. Was that most of the information in there was already publicly available.
Yeah, shenanigans. Anyway, on the Rose thing, just to close that one out.
Yeah,
he's just trying to get his name recognition up, and so he's been on a little press tour, like to the point where he reached out to Compass, is the way I understood it.
Really?
Or his staff reached out and said he was available. And they're like, yeah, we'll take that interview.
That's cool.
He's trying. I mean,
it's his only shot.
For me and you, it's 6 or half dozen. We'd lose either way. And as of right now, at least one of the two of them will win because they will win the primary.
Yeah, I'm not sure who would be worse.
I don't know. Let's at least probably vote elect our first female governor. Let's take the win there on gender equality.
I'm trying to remember, she came out with something recently that was a handful of states of senators that came out against something. I don't know if it had to do with immigration or something else.
Oh, I did see that Governor Lee had sent some of our National Guard, some of the Tennessee National Guard, up to D.C.
I don't think one of the stories I read, something like 13 states so far.
I wonder if they're going to, once they finish cleaning up D.C., they're going to come down to Memphis. Memphis has a higher murder rate than D.C. does.
I think I read a story today or last night that they're pushing for, or they're talking about sending troops into Boston. I think like the head of ICE or whatever said he was going to do it. Because apparently the mayor, I think they got pointed out as one of the handful of cities or states or whatever that got called out for supposedly having high crime rates. But I think the Boston mayor publicly came out and was just kind of like, no thanks, don't even do that. Like, well, okay, you know what, we're going to do it.
The D.C. mayor didn't ask for it.
Right. I think I saw earlier today that I think they put it out officially that they're going to now allow the National Guard to carry their issued weapons. Or firearms. So I guess before they were unarmed, essentially just kind of doing crowd control.
So the question here is, like, is this preparation for something, or is this just, like, simply, I promise law and order, and this is how we're getting it?
I think more sort of the latter. I think it's more just like a show of force. And make it seem like they're doing something. Because with, I don't know, in my opinion, with some of the crime rates that we're already following, they just kind of get to claim the win. Like, see, we fixed it. This made a big difference. It's like, these are the same numbers we had before you guys showed up. But thanks for coming to Georgetown and walking the Washington Mall.
Right, the $1 million houses that you walked by that nobody else walks by. Like, people don't walk these
thanks
streets.
For protecting the Shake Shack. So that was a funny story. I get J.D. Vance and Hegseth and I think Stephen Miller came out and I guess went to Grand Central Station, visited Shake Shack. So there's a bunch of people making fun of National Guard being there protecting the Shake Shack at the train terminal.
Well, I don't know, man. It's that bullshit. Like, I don't know. I'm exhausted with the national news. I apologize for getting on the topic. Mr. Rose is running through town. There was not as much pushback on the Muse thing, which I kind of found interesting because that's more a direct issue, at least for the fair fans. Like, I'm mad about the whole thing. Like, I really want to see. Okay, fine, Mr. Clayton, you're going to give a fifth or a sixth of what you said you were going to pay for the new big one and replace it in the old police department.
Right.
Okay, cool. Can we have the police department back and sell it to somebody else that's going to do something with it? We appreciate you doing the demo. That's nice. Thank you. Actually, I think the city did the demo. I don't remember. That's good. I need to follow. I need to ask some questions on that.
I thought they may have been more on the Clayton side.
Might have been.
Because I said they'd already kind of started the project, and they were kind of.
Right.
They said we would go ahead and like finish. We're not going to leave it as it is now. We've already started, and we'll at least get it back to, a clear property or whatever.
I want to see the city take it back, and I want to see the request for proposal out for somebody to do something there. And for all you people that live in the neighborhood, when that request for proposal comes out, that's the time for public input.
Yeah.
Because when that's the thing going back, restarting the episode real quick, is when they put those requests for proposals out, it's usually after they do the public meetings on them. Because it's like, hey, we want to do something with this piece of land. What do you guys think? So what do you want? What do you want us to do there? There's a park right next door already, so that doesn't make any sense. There is a charter issue, so they can't sell it for an apartment or a housing complex or anything like that.
Why not?
It's a charter thing. They can't sell. The city cannot sell land for housing development.
So they could sell it to a commercial company, but there's limit as to what they can do commercially on that property.
Well, no, I mean, they could. Well, that's the thing is that when the city is in the sales process, it's the same thing that happened with the Chillhowee Park thing. Is when they put a request for a proposal out, they could put direction in it. We're going to sell you this piece of land, or we're going to lease you this piece of land, whichever version of it. But this is what we want on it.
So when they do a request for proposals, is that they just kind of put it out to whoever wants
Anybody
to
wants to come put one in, and on the Chillhowee Park one, or on the Midway one, Emerald was the only one that did it.
Yeah.
And it's not uncommon or illegal for persons who want to do something with a piece of land and to talk with the city officials so that the request for proposal can include things specifically that they want to do anyway, which is kind of weird. Because like Emerald said, like we want to do a sporting complex there. And then they put the request for proposal out and they put a sporting complex there.
Yeah.
And so basically it was Emerald, who already wants to do this, or anybody else who wants to do what Emerald wants to do here, is welcome to make a proposal here.
So they kind of pigeonholed it.
Right. But still, but had there been had the public bothered to input in that point, they could have been like, well, we have a couple of different ideas that we'd like to do here. And some requirements thereof. Again, keeping things connected for the episode tonight. When they put a request for proposal out for the art project that they did on Gay Street and Summit Hill, they had parameters of the art project, and they hadn't talked to the specific artist that took it up, but it's like, we want to do an art installation here, and here are some of the block, very broad framework that we'd like to see. It is the cradle of country music park, but it doesn't necessarily have to have anything to do with country music.
Right. Just make it pretty.
Which I don't know, like it's stupid, don't get me wrong, but it's not that, like, I'm not mad at it either. I don't know. It's there. It's a thing. I don't know. What else would be better there? I don't know. That's the question.
Look, Chicago has that big mirrored beam.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people visit that.
Yeah.
I think
it's just some random abstract art. I mean, to me, like I had the solution and it was free or very cheap. Build a nice platform and put the giant Rubik's Cube there. It's got some historical value. It would have been cool.
What's the historical value?
It's from the World's Fair.
Big Rubik's Cube?
It's like a 6 foot, like each edge of the like each, it's like a 6 foot cube.
Has it been displayed anywhere else since the World's Fair?
It's been floating around downtown for a while. It was sitting underneath the bridge for a long time. Sitting underneath the 275 Gay Street, that whole 275 40 mess of bridges and interchanges.
So I want to say I may have seen it, but does it actually move around, or is it?
I know it's just fixed. But I mean, it's a cool thing. Put it out somewhere. It needs to be out somewhere. And we could have put that there, and we could have spent still probably spent $1 million to build a platform to put it on, because it takes. Again, I go back to that, like
a lot of concrete.
The city's talked about like they're getting contractors in play and stuff like that to do some added sidewalks and repairs and stuff. I still can't wrap my mind around $1 million a mile for sidewalk.
Yeah, I don't know. There's got to be somebody that could break it down.
I
don't know if it's buying up a lot of that easement as far as just property.
It seems crazy to me. It seems crazy. But I don't know, because it should fall within easement, so they don't have to buy it.
Right.
Like that's public right away.
I don't know if that would require them to essentially add to the easement. If they're taking up the easement, if there still has to be a separate easement from the...
No, it's from the road. So if they expanded the road into it, yes. But if basically that first 4 feet from the curb, where your property starts, that first 4 feet from the curb is the easement. And that easement being its access for all your utilities. So water lines can run underneath it, electricity, phone, internet, all that kind of crap can run in that 4 foot span from the curb from the end of the road into your yard. And so you put the sidewalk inside that 4-foot limit. You don't have to buy it.
I'm just speculating. I don't know if it would require them to then add a separate kind of easement.
Yeah, it makes
or if
sense.
the sidewalk can be a part of that easement.
I mean, I do have, I'd be curious to know how that works if they do expand a road, like if they widen a road because it needs to be widened because of traffic, whatever. How that works. Like, okay, so you take the 4 feet on the right side, the 4 feet on the left side, they get you 8 feet. I think a standard lane's 11. But once you take it, does it then become a new 4 feet? Like, where does how many easements can you start taking before you just take somebody's whole yard?
And then if you've got to move any kind of power lines or any kind of underground infrastructure.
I mean, for a roadway, but
right.
not for a fucking sidewalk.
Right.
I don't know. Like, I'm actually about to start calling some concrete guys to do some estimates for me. And whilst I'm chatting with them, I'll be like, here's what I need to do here. This is what I'll do for my project.
Oh, and by the way, if you
just out of curiosity, if I had 100 acres and I wanted to put a sidewalk, I just wanted to do a big 1 mile loop so I could exercise, right? I want a 1 mile loop of sidewalk on my property so that I can go out and walk and I know it's exactly a mile.
Right.
How much would you charge me? You know, lightly wooded, we might have to cut some trees down and stuff like that. But even that's fucking bullshit because we have city crews that could do the clearing if there's any woods on it or whatever. I'll pitch it at the guy. This will be my pitch. Almost an agreement at gmail.com if you think I'm missing some stuff. But the pitch will be a 1 mile circle, relatively flat, not perfectly flat, relatively flat. Just, standard sidewalk depth and width. It will be cleared. It'll be cleared before you get there of trees or brush or anything like that, because the city public works already could take care of that.
Remember, with a lot of concrete, you've got to have some kind of base, which is usually like a smaller gravel,
yeah,
or smaller rock.
Yeah,
you can't just put it. Well, you could put it on just flat ground, but it's probably going to crack all to hell within a short period of time.
True. But I'll pitch it up, and I'll see what they say.
Yeah.
Like, write me up a quote for this, too. I got some land over here that I want to do this thing on.
Yeah.
I'll lie to them and tell them it's an option.
They're going to be calling you back all the time to get that sale, though.
That's fine.
They're like, we got a guy that's going to buy a mile of sidewalk. Can you believe it? Yeah, keep calling them every day.
Well, they call me back and be like, they say it's $1 million, and I'll be like, that's too much. I can't afford that.
Right.
If they come back and say it's $120,000, I'll be like, that's still a lot. But I've got this other project I got to finish, and then we'll come back to it. And they call me back in a year. Call me back in a year. I'll keep asking because it'll still be a conversation.
Yeah.
In the city of Knoxville, and so I'll just have an automatic update. Like, is it still $120,000? Yep. Cool. I mean, actually, to be honest, like if that's the truth, like if that's what happens, I might be like, okay, can you give me that in writing? Like, yep. And then I'll go to the city and be like, all right, I'll build you a mile sidewalk for $500,000.
I found a guy that's going to do it for this.
No, I'm not going to tell him anything about that. I mean, I can get it done for $500,000. And then they'll be like, okay, and I'll sign the contract on that, and I'll get this guy to come out and do it.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be able to authorize that work on essentially city or county property.
If the city,
I mean, you as a citizen or quote unquote semi-owner, but you wouldn't be able to legally sign off on a contract like that on behalf of the city or county.
No. Yes. I'm the contractor to the city, and I'm subcontracting that to my concrete guy. City does that all the time.
Yeah.
That'd be no problem. I will do that. I'm like, hey, I'll give you a bonus. You said $120,000? I'll make it $250,000. Get it done.
Hell, maybe what a contractor's already doing. Maybe that's why it's so high. So I got the city sitting there giving me $1 million. I'm about to profit $500,000.
Yeah, exactly. I can make all that money off of them, and I can charge you less. It's like,
right.
What the fuck? I mean, if that's true, that's a whole other set of problems. Like, how's that?
I mean, a lot of cities have that issues with like the no bid contracts, It's not a rare thing that you see in local city politics.
That's a corruption issue, though. That's not a city issue. That's
right.
not.
Oh, sorry, a city corruption issue.
I mean, if you're the only contractor,
you see it more often in like cities. That's where you see the stories coming out of.
Right, but if you're the only contractor that can do the job in town, you can overcharge it. Okay, that's one thing. But it's like there's multiple contractors, but you're not you like I don't know. I've been trying to figure out if there's anything that I could possibly do city contracts for. Like I've been running that through my head. If I was in a construction trade of any sort, I would have somebody on staff that once a month goes and checks what the city's putting out.
Right.
Because they put them out all the time, and it's right there on the website. Just go, City of Knoxville. Like KnoxvilleTN.org or whatever it is. You just go on there, and there's a link on the website, and you can find it. And it has a whole big like portal of things. All sorts of contracts they're asking for.
Yeah.
All sorts of little jobs. And I've read through them. I'm like, man, I can't do any of these. But if I can figure out something that I can do, sure, why not? If there's something that I have some access to that I could do, I could just middle it and make a couple bucks. Because the only other contractor in town that's actually bothering to pay attention is overcharging the city because he knows nobody else is paying attention. He starts losing some contracts to me, he's going to start bringing his prices down. Civic duty. It's my civic duty to pay attention to this shit. But again, like if I was a contractor, if I was any sort of contract work, I would have somebody in the office periodically check on that. You know, demolition work. The city wants to demo this. Whatever random thing.
I'll go knock it down, sure.
Yeah. You know, if that's within the realm of the business that I'm doing, I would absolutely be checking on that regularly.
Right.
You know, what's the harm? You write up, you fill out the form that the city provides on, can you do the job? Do you have the insurance? Do you have this, that, and the other? How much you charge to do it? And
I think you could do it in certain instances. I'd say that there's some markets that aren't constantly busy or they're not flooded with an excess amount. There's a handful of things out there. There's only a few companies that even do it.
Sure. But I would say,
like, you know, hazardous waste proposal, there's probably only a few companies in town that do specialize in that or whatever.
Right, I could agree with that. But like the general stuff, I would think anybody that does, I don't know, maybe right now with building stuff in general, with everything getting built and it's being expensive to build anything right now.
Right.
I mean, like the architect I was talking to, he's like $300 a square foot. Is average. Is a low average in Knox County right now. Do the math.
Right.
1,000 square foot home, the pink house that we used to live in. It's like 800 something square feet. To build that house, brand new, right now, be a $400,000 house. Well, 270 something to build it, and 100 and something to buy the piece of land.
Yeah.
So like that little pink house, if we bought that piece of land that the pink house was on, tore it down and built a new one, identical, but new. This guy was telling me you're looking at like $270,000, $270,000.
Yeah.
To build that house. That's fucking crazy. I'm trying to build that house in my backyard. And I'm gonna do it for under 100.
Do it.
I'm gonna try. It's happening. I got to go through the permit process and got to call Shane Jackson back. I got to go. I want to do it without getting annexed. Because then if I get annexed, I'm going to run for city mayor. And my platform as city mayor is going to be Metro, Build Baby Build, and what was the other one I just said earlier? I already forgot. I'm going to be a terrible mayor. Don't vote for me.
What was one of my campaign promises? I forgot. What did I say I was going to do last week?
Oh, sell it all. Sell everything.
Oh, okay.
Sell the city at it. Sell any asset that doesn't have any. Like if I don't like, yeah, I'll like day one. I'm going to go to Parks. All right, Parks and Rec. What do you got?
You'd probably like this idea. I think I've seen a couple governors come out recently. I think Florida was one about trying to eliminate property tax.
Yeah, I heard about it. I don't know.
You would think they've got to make up that kind of tax law somewhere else. So you almost think it, on more often than not, it's probably just going to be a wash.
I mean, I do, in the sense, like, I've gone on my rant before about we don't own anything, really, when you get down to the brass tacks of it.
Right.
we are renting everything we have from the government at some level. At least anything of value, anything that's property taxable as we see it now. You know, like I don't like when it comes down to the brass, like when it comes down to the super details. Like I am renting a space in a commercial in a commercial building to do my business in, and then I am renting the things that it takes me to do my business from the city of Knoxville.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if I don't pay that tax, eventually they're going to take my shit. It's like I bought the computer, I bought the chairs, I bought these things, but I don't own these things if you get real technical about it. Now, granted, it's, you know, we pay at this point for most of them I pay the tax minimum, the property tax minimum. Although there is one of the things that's happening with the county tax with the 2-year appraisal process is apparently one of the things that's in play is that after 2 years you get to depreciate stuff. Tangible business property gets to depreciate significantly after 2 years.
Right.
But if they do 2-year appraisals, then you don't get to depreciate anything. You get whatever the appraisal is every year. So essentially, like if you built a big warehouse or something like that, the first 2 years of it you have a high property tax on that warehouse. Actually, not the property as far as the piece of land, but the tangible property, right. Being the building, the forklift that you have, the shelving units, all that kind of shit. That those millions of dollars you spend on the front end, you're going to pay a significant property tax those 2 years. But after 2 years, you can depreciate a bunch of that off, and your property tax falls significantly. You can depreciate it all you want, but they're going to reappraise in 2 years, and they're going to come out and say, you got a forklift worth X, you got a shelving units worth Y.
Do you think if you haven't added anything, that's where it should apply to, hey, we've still got that same forklift.
Right.
That is supposed to have depreciated as long as you haven't added more equipment.
It will go down, but not at the same rate. And so that's one of the ways that this county is going to make up for, it's one of the ways the county has worked on trying to make more income for the county so they don't have to raise the actual tax.
Yeah. I can't remember where I saw it. It might have been Breaking Points where they were talking about the different states that are proposing eliminating property tax.
I mean, I've heard about it.
And I was kind of supposed to help, retirees that have bought their house, paid it off.
Yeah.
But they were pointing out that there's so many like tax subsidies that are already applied to people 64 and 65 and older.
I don't know. I mean, this is the idea on a principle basis.
It was more like subsidizing versus. It seemed like they were subsidizing the
right. Like Knox County,
retired.
Like Knox County has a property tax freeze.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what it was.
When you get over a certain age.
Yeah.
But I mean, like on a purely principle basis, yeah. Like I mean, okay, so I signed a contract. I took a loan for 30 years. I paid that loan for 30 years. I own my house. I continue to pay my insurance on my house, okay? Because I want to insure my house,
right?
So that if it, like when you have a loan on it, the bank makes you have insurance on the house because they want to get their money. If something catastrophic happens, the bank wants their money back. You don't live there anymore. The house burned down or whatever.
Right.
The insurance is going to pay the bank back, so the bank gets their money, and they don't give a shit about what's going on with you personally. Okay, but once you've paid your house off, if you choose not to carry insurance, because you're like, I don't owe anything on the house, I don't have to keep insurance on it. I'm not you're not obligated to you're not obligated to have homeowners insurance like you're obligated to have car insurance by law. It's not illegal to have a house that's uninsured. It's illegal,
Even if you have a mortgage.
Terms of the loan, the bank is going to require you to have insurance.
Yeah, kind of like car insurance, where if you're still making payments, you have to have
different coverages, but you
have to have full coverage on cars.
Right, but you can have the liability only on your car
when you own it outright.
Right, and so, it's like, okay, well, I paid my house off, like. I agreed to terms and I paid the bank. The bank got their money. I got my house. I don't want to carry insurance anymore. Why should I have to pay anything? Like I should be able to live in my house and not have to pay anything to live in my house other than like utilities and usage stuff past that.
Right.
It does seem kind of weird to me that you can literally have bought your house, paid it off, lived in it for 35 years, and I don't know, like you are on Social Security and you have like Social Security is not enough. Social Security is not enough to maybe get food on the table and keep the lights on when you're 70.
Right.
But that the state could come and take your house from you because you're not paying your taxes on your house that you own outright. It does seem kind of weird to me.
I'm trying to think of other kind of like taxes that we just kind of, I'm like, okay, well, I just kind of accept it as
I mean,
is.
again, like to like full disclosure and anti-libertarianism or whatever, like I'm not opposed to paying taxes. I just want to feel like I have a say, and I want to feel like it's getting used well.
Right.
Like I don't, there are certainly people that like they're especially in libertarianism or whatever. There's like taxation is theft. It is, like, to me, it is, like, it truly is, because you're not even using it for something that has value to me, at least in relative terms. For what you're taking from me versus what I'm getting for it aren't even close to value. Like, I have no want. I have zero want. Like, we've already argued about it, and I don't want to go into it per se, but I have zero want for whatever the fuck's going on in Ukraine right now. I don't care. I don't care if Putin runs it, and I don't care if that other dude with the t-shirt that all the time runs it. I don't give a shit. It doesn't matter to me. Yet some percentage of my income goes to that. I have a problem with that. And it's like if I felt like, I don't know, like a universal healthcare system. Like if I felt like my taxes went to keep kids healthy and we educated them better and it kept me and you alive and I didn't have to worry about, well, oh shit, if I fall down the stairs tonight because I drank too many, I may never financially recover.
Right.
Because I fell down the stairs from getting a little drunk and arguing with my friend on the internet.
It's still one of the number one reasons for people going into bankruptcy.
Like that to me seems crazy. Like,
right.
Like it's like, okay, if you're going to steal my money from me, at least have the decency to do things that are net positive for me.
I mean, there's a plethora of things that if you looked at the dollars, you're like, why the hell is my money going to that? We subsidize a lot of things.
Yeah. And make it make sense to me. And like, that's, right. That's why I don't, as much as people like to make fun of me for my libertarian values or whatever, it's like, that's why I don't shy away from it.
Right.
It's like, listen, like,
it's like a lot of political parties. There's a wide spectrum because I've seen some libertarians that are like, I think even one of my friends, I think, was leaning on that side of it. And they were like, well, yeah, we can just have like private roads. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I mean, it's like you're going to allow private citizens to then charge like tolls to drive on the road because they had the money to pay from point A to point B.
Right. Right.
You're like, well, yeah, that's going to work out. I've heard some libertarians that are just kind of like, well, we'll find a way to come together collectively to pay for, fire, police, etc.
I mean,
it's kind of like you're crazy if you think that people are going to actually do that.
I think they would. I think you'd figure it out. I think you would. I truly do. I think like the problem is scale to me. Like on a national level, fuck no way. But on a local level, yeah, sure. I think you could get to a place because again, it's like a homeowners association. People opt into that because they want a certain thing. People will opt into what they want to and stay out of what they don't want to.
Now, what benefits do you get out of a homeowner association? It's not like you get.
I'd
say there's some that may have like lawn service or whatever.
Well, so if this neighborhood was in an HOA, depending on what rules we set up, the guy that lives across the street, whose mom lives in his camper in his backyard, and I have to hear the fucking generator run all night, that ain't gonna fly in my mom's neighborhood,
right?
Like he put that big carport in. Or this guy that lives next door to me, who is he does tree service for a living. Like he goes out and cuts down trees for people and shit like that. Like he has
arborist.
Yeah, thank you. He has a big truck, like this big orange work truck in the yard right now. Every once in a while, he'll have different tools that he's trying to fix in his backyard. And it's like, big diesel motor he's running in his fucking backyard every once in a while. If I was in a homeowners association, that ain't gonna fucking fly.
Yeah.
Is that something I'm willing to pay for? No, I'd rather put up with it than pay for that. But that's my decision. Now, if you took that in different scales, then you could do and again, like to me at least, and this is my version of it, is like I'm not opposed to government per se. I'm just like if it was on, we just can't do it at this scale. We can't do it at this like the city of Knoxville per se, like the city of Knoxville or Knox County in general. Like I could see that being if it's set up in an appropriate manner and we have engaged involvement. I mean, that's essentially what it is anyway. That's where it started. It just ballooned out into a mess. That's what municipalities are. It's a collective saying, hey, we here around in this neighborhood, this bigger neighborhood of a county, this is what we want, this is what we don't want.
Yeah.
You know, and taking out some of the different stuff that does exist in it, in the current version of it, it's like, you know, but it's if it's set up in a way, like, again, if it's set up in a way that's relative, like, I can't wrap my head around a whatever billion dollar budget that Knox County has. Can't keep my road from falling apart. There's not that many miles of road that the county actually has to pay for to get fixed, yet we can't have decent roads outside of the big ones. And those are state or city roads anyway.
I mean, we've talked about how expensive it supposedly is for sidewalks. Like I can't imagine the price for paving.
Asphalt is way cheaper than concrete, but you know, but again, like or the more generic one that we've talked about a billion times, it's like $600 and something million budget for Knox County schools, and we're not educating our kids well. I mean, I feel like what are we missing? Like, how is this? Like, what is going on that it costs this much to do this? And that takes different funds, like, you know, and the better version of it is like statewide stuff. It's like, you know, the majority of our sales tax goes to the state.
Right.
And they don't do shit. I get a highway, I see a state trooper running around the highway in the interstate every once in a while, and TDOT every once in a while fixing potholes.
Shitty patches. That's what's always fun in like the wintertime. They're like, it's cold. We just got to do like these cold patches.
But I mean, I like the thing to me is like it's like how much of it goes to the state and then comes back. That's one of the things that doesn't make sense to me. Like if it's here money, just leave it here. Quit taking it. Like it costs money to process. Why are we processing? Stop taking it. Leave it here.
Right.
You know, like I would rather like I this has been a consistent argument of mine, and I might be crazy, but it's like when it comes to percentage of my tax dollars taken from me, the majority of them should be to Knox County. The least of it should be to the federal government because they have 330 million people to collect from. And a little bit out of 330 million people should be enough to run the federal government. But instead, the majority goes to the federal government, and the least of it comes here. It makes no sense. Like FEMA, like I mean, you get like a lot of these things. It's like we have all these federal agencies that then come back to the states. And it's like Tennessee is the biggest. Tennessee is like the first or second state in federal subsidies. That federal dollars come to Tennessee and get spent in Tennessee on stuff. And it's like, well, don't take it. How much are we losing in the transactions? That's what boggles my mind in it.
As far as administrative costs of someone having to, I guess,
the
books of doing it.
The IRS has to do their thing in mass, right, and get that money in the first place. And
what cost are you talking about in this whole transfer?
Right. Well, the IRS has to do it in the first place. So you take the expansive cost that is the IRS existing and how it exists. If the IRS wasn't collecting as much per individual because the federal government wasn't spending as much per individual, so they didn't need as much, it wouldn't take as many people to do what they need to do.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
And then you have all the departments that are then, you know, like the Department of the Interior, which is then allocating funds to Tennessee Wildlife or the Tennessee Park Service, like the state parks.
Right.
Or it's even, you know, the federal parks that are in the state of Tennessee that the Department of the Interior is allocating funds to Tennessee so that Tennessee can keep up with federal parks. And like every single one of those transactions takes, it takes a person or a group of people to do the work to move this and that and the other, and then move it back, and then that person moves, that group or agency moves it back, and then the actual people that are doing the work go do the work. And so it's which is probably why a sidewalk costs $1 million, because the actual sidewalk is $250,000 or whatever we joked about it costing,
right?
But all the process costs an extra whatever. Like if the federal government was going to build a sidewalk if it truly cost $1 million to build a mile of sidewalk in Knoxville, if the federal government was going to do it, it'd be $5 million.
I get your point, but I think as far as like kind of tax distribution, I think you'd start to see kind of, if you tried to do it more locally, it would come out unequal, and I think that's why we do it kind of on the collective scale, federal-wise.
But on the collective scale, federal-wise, it comes out unequal too.
I mean, as far as on the federal, it's been talked about many times, as California pays more into the federal government than it receives back.
Right.
You have the opposite of some states as well.
Right.
They have lower population, so less tax roll. But
right. But why is California subsidizing Tennessee?
Because we're a collective United States.
Okay, but what is the like? If it was a functional collective, where it was a functional government across it, and they didn't have a sub government inside each of the ones, I think the conversation would be, well, if Tennessee, because if you get down to the per capita conversation, it shouldn't be that much different. Why are we taking more percentage from a Californian than a Tennessean? How are you you're collecting more money because you have more people? Okay, we have more
people. I'd say you have more businesses creating revenue.
But if you have more people and more businesses creating revenue, they're good. Those businesses and people need more funding to be on the equal playing field. They need more
Just
infrastructure.
depending on what they're having fun, Because I don't know what national parks in like Wyoming. It's one of the least populous states, but they probably got a few like giant parks. So I'd say they're probably getting more kind of federal dollars to keep up those parks.
Yeah, but they should be. But
some of that federal money is getting a visitation or whatever, unless the park's completely free.
Right, but even if the park is completely free, the tourist dollar should be what funds the use of it. Like if I'm a Tennessean and I want to go to, Rocky Mountain National Park in Colorado.
All right.
When I go to Rocky Mountain Park in Colorado, I'm going to spend money and I'm going to do things while I'm there. That should be where the revenue comes from to pay for the park. Why should it come out of my taxes here? Rephrase that. If somebody from California...
That's probably a state park. I don't know.
Rocky Mountain National Park?
I don't know.
It's a national park. It's Rocky Mountain National Park. Like, that is what it's called. Unless it's a state park that uses the national park moniker, it's Rocky Mountain National Park.
Okay.
Or, Great Smoky Mountains National Park.
Right.
Right? So if the federal government is funding that, and they're taking money from California to fund that, but the local economies are the one that are benefiting from that, why are we taking money from California? Shouldn't we take money out of the local economies that are benefiting from that? Wouldn't that be the logical way to do it?
I think the Great Smokies is free to visit. I think the only thing they're charging for is if you want to drive like Kate's Cove Loop.
Okay, but if you are,
or you camp there.
Okay, for those of us that live locally, that's fine. We can go and do all the free shit in the park and come home. But anybody who's actually touristing to it is going to be staying in a hotel or renting a campground and buying food and doing all the things you should do when you're doing touristy shit. Shouldn't that be the stuff that funds it instead of California, who may or may not ever use it?
I see your point.
It just doesn't make any sense. Again, to me, this is one of my federalist issues or whatever, and it gets complicated and all that kind of stuff. But it's at the end of the day, what is the job of the federal government? And if we're going to say that the federal government is the unifying single government of all 50 states, then we need to get rid of the states concept and we need to treat states like counties. Okay, let's do that. And we have one single set of laws, and we don't have little subsets of laws locally and all that kind of bullshit. And we figure out a tax revenue system inside.
You already have that. You have state ordinances and county ordinances and city ordinances. We have separate laws for different things.
We do. But
you expand that out. That's what we have at the federal level. We have federal laws and state laws.
Right, but what
it's written into our Constitution.
Right, but the question is, whose job is it to do what? That's the conversation. It's whose job is it to do what? So when we get to federal, when we get to state of Tennessee's job is not generally to do law enforcement inside the state of Tennessee. We have local law enforcement that covers that. We have county sheriff's offices, or we have city.
Or the state troopers. State police.
It is state police, yes. But as far as every single, the totality of law enforcement is not on the state trooper's office. It's state law is, what's the word I'm looking for here? State law is enforced by local law enforcement.
True.
Federal law is not enforced by state troopers. It's not enforced by local law enforcement.
Correct.
Federal law enforcement enforces federal law.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense.
Well, there's some overlap in jurisdictions and whatnot.
But still, it doesn't it doesn't flow in the same manner as inside the state. It flows in one way, but when you add federal into it, it's like if a certain set of things happens and it's across both state lines and all kind of whatever, blah, 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 then the federal law enforcement could get involved on a particular set of laws. But at the end of the day, it's federally legal to buy and sell marijuana. A whole bunch of states it's legal in a whole bunch of states to buy and sell marijuana.
Right.
So federal law
within the state, right?
But federal law sometimes doesn't supersede local law, but it does. I mean, technically, if the feds want to go just drive around Colorado for a couple hours and pick people up, they could do it. It's not on their purview of shit that they give a shit about, so they don't. But
right.
They could. And it's like, well, if that inversely though, it's like if Knox County decided it wanted to be cool with weed, state troopers would be on in a minute.
Right.
Well, actually, not even that. The sheriff's office doesn't have a choice. They're not allowed to be cool with it. They're obligated to follow state law.
Right.
But the state is not allowed to. Some states choose not to follow federal law. It doesn't make any sense. So either we need to.
It's just written in the Constitution.
Either we need to lean into the idea that the federal government is limited and does a very limited set of shit that shouldn't cost as much as it does to do, or we lean into we're going to make this a unified single legal system. It's the halfway point that we keep trying to straddle that's really fucking screws us up.
So are you kind of edging away of the idea of states' rights?
It's an option. I think I'd prefer states' rights, personally, because I think scale is the problem we have. I think the ability to scale to the federal level is what makes things so damn difficult. I mean, scaling to the level of the state is hard. But I think if we narrowed it down to here's a short list of shit that you cannot do as a state, that's the Constitution in general. You cannot do this as a state. You cannot make laws to, you cannot make laws that restrict the freedom of speech and movement and blah, blah, blah.
Right. And I think it is a limited amount of things where federal law supersedes that doesn't, where the federal government doesn't give leeway to the states to make their own laws on said.
Right, but if that's what the federal government did, and then the only part of federal law enforcement would be enforcing onto the states what the states are allowed to do and not allowed to do, not enforcing on the individual. You know what I'm saying? So if we went back to a states first model, the state of Tennessee can do whatever they want as long as it's within the Constitution, right?
Believe so, yeah.
If they violate the Constitution, then the federal law gets to come in and say, hey, state, you can't do that. Not, hey, individual, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How much cheaper would that be for the federal government to not have to go after individuals? They just go after states for not doing stuff within their purview.
Some of these are just cross state lines that ends up it being federal. I think trafficking and whatnot, if you cross state lines, it turns it into a federal crime.
Right. Right, I agree. And
same with commerce and whatnot.
Right, but it's a federal crime because it's federally illegal. It's not that it's that one state or the other state. Theoretically.
Yeah, No, drug trafficking is illegal within the state as well. But when you cross state lines, that's when it turns into a federal charge.
Right, but that's just the additional charge game, which that's another problem.
You usually don't get convicted on both. It's usually whoever wants to take lead on it. Whether the state wants to just do state, usually they're happy to hand it off to the federal courts. They're like, oh, you're going to do this? Okay, cool.
Right. That's scary. That saves us got caught anyway.
Saves us some time and money. Saves the state time and money, basically, potentially.
I'm trying to think of an analogy here, and I'm failing. Like if you drove from California through Nevada into California to sell marijuana, all three of those states
you can't do anyway.
All three of those states are legal,
right? By state law, not by federal law,
right? And so the crossing state lines part is irrelevant. It's federally illegal. They can bust you for that.
I mean, I think even to buy, like, your states have set limits that even, like, their own state citizens. Like, I think somebody told me in Colorado, like, you can buy more as a resident of the state versus out of resident, you're limited to a lower amount that you can actually buy to cut back on the trafficking aspect of it.
Agreed, but the point being is the federal law, the interstate commerce part of the federal law would apply, but the state-by-state law doesn't apply. So it's not you broke federal law, but you didn't break a single state law in the process.
Correct.
That doesn't make any sense.
Let's say even state law, you're only allowed to have so much.
Okay, even if it's just so much, you just. I mean, you're taking a legal substance from one state to another state where it's a legal substance, but it's federally illegal.
Right. It more depends on the intent. I mean. In kind of that vague case, if you're buying a certain or a larger amount and your intent is to then resell it, that's where you have kind of the commerce issue.
Right. So, but to me, the solution to this conversation would be that the federal government has deemed this illegal. That Colorado, you cannot allow this to happen. You're obliged to take efforts to stop this. It shouldn't matter whether you cross state lines or not. If you're breaking federal law, you're breaking federal law. And by a lot, like.
Like again, it's actually like illegal to have like large amounts of like liquor or alcohol and take it from one state to another.
It very much is.
Yeah,
I think it's like 3 cases,
something like that.
If you're going to drive across state lines with, and again, that's a tax thing. That's a tax protection. It's not federally illegal. It's state to state legal. Different states have different rules on that.
Right. Because you have some states that have higher alcohol and beer taxes.
Right. It's
you have North Carolina that has, I guess, all their liquor stores are run by the state. A handful of other states have state-run liquor stores, basically.
That's a tax protection scheme. It has nothing to do with federal law.
Right.
And so it's not that the federal government says it's illegal for you to cross state lines with liquor. It's that Tennessee says it's illegal to import liquor without going through one of our distributors, because that's where we collect our taxes.
Yeah.
Oh, that got weird. Speaking of getting weird, let's get weird.
Let's see here. I guess I was not really. Campaigners want to change the world map to show Africa is bigger.
You've
seen on like kind of like what's that?
It'd be more accurate,
right? That's their main thing. Because I think on whatever they call it, the Mercator project. It's one of the world's most popular maps. Greenland is about the same size as Africa, where I think they say you can fit 14 Greenlands inside the African continent. So you literally got a 14-fold percentage difference in the way the standard kind of map that you would see in classrooms, where it's kind of like stretched out or whatever.
Yeah, but so globe does like a classroom globe? They're scaled, right?
Should be, yeah.
I get it.
I think. I don't know.
I mean, I get it. It'd be accurate for accuracy's sake. I agree. Like, I don't see a problem with making it so, but at the same time, it's like the point of the map is to show what?
Geography, basically.
Right. And so it's like, oh, if we're particularly studying that place, but then you know what? You're right. They need to fix it. It should be accurate.
You're almost kind of like teaching a misinformed kind of perspective of the world.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God, that country's huge. That's why they're so powerful or whatever. And it's kind of like, well, no.
I agree. I agree. I think if the point is to educate about the world and the way what the world looks like, then you should probably be accurate with it.
Right.
All right, one more.
Let's see here. Rabbits with quote-unquote horns in Colorado are being called Frankenstein bunnies. Here's why.
They're called jackalopes. What are you talking about?
They talk about that in it. They may think that's where it came back from, but it's like a wart or kind of fungus. Or not a fungus. Is that what it was? That's a virus. So it's a viral thing. It causes growth to grow in them, basically. But there's speculation that maybe, years ago when the whole jackalope thing came about, it may have been that's what they were actually saying.
Jackalopes are real. I love it. No more cryptid for you guys. You guys are real.
It's actually, the cottontails recently spotted in Fort Collins. Infected with the mostly harmless Shopa papilloma
Come on, you can do better
virus.
that. Say again.
Papilloma virus.
Papilloma.
Wart-like growths. Like metastasizing horns.
Nice.
Pictures make them look pretty crazy. Like, if I saw one of those in the wild, I'd be like, that poor thing. Like, I don't know what it's got. I'm going to stay away from it.
It's coming right for us. You could shoot that motherfucker. All right. That's the show, everybody. Thanks for listening. All right. We did a show. Yeah, get over at East Knoxville. You're getting the Emerald Club. No, the Emerald Club's a strip club. Never mind. You're getting the Emerald Youth thing, and you're getting the Muse. And the Tennessee Valley Fair is going to have to go find a new home. So it's just the way it is. I don't know what to tell you. We're Almost Agreement at gmail.com, on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube. Go to the website, almostagreement.com. Go to our website, check out all the cool stuff we got there. Go to your favorite podcast provider. We've got cool options, whichever one you like, we're on it. Like, friend, share, follow, text your friends, see what you can do to support the show. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. Find a source, maybe better than us, and get engaged when the right time to get engaged is, and not when the process is. So, anyway, bye, everybody.